Hi, and welcome to Hypnotize Me, the podcast about hypnosis, transformation, and healing. This is Dr. Elizabeth Bonet, and I'm your host. Disclaimer time. This podcast is not a substitute for mental health treatment, nor should it be. If you need therapy or hypnotherapy, please seek a trained professional. I do hypnosis all over the world, so if you'd like to learn more about me, you can do that at my website, drlizhypnosis.com. That's DRLIZ hypnosis.com. Now on to our episode. I cannot resist talking about goals when the new year rolls around. New Year's resolutions / goals, it's the same thing to me. Okay, people set them at different times of the year, and I know that the new year is a great opportunity to set them actually. I know some people roll their eyes at them, but I love goals so much that I thought I would just do a little bonus episode about different processes, what gets in your way, and some tips to overcome them. I wrote a blog post about this called 4 Types of Resolution Setters or Resolution Makers or Goal Setters. Which type are you? And it's a wonderful blog post. It's over at my website, drlizhypnosis.com. If you just click on the blog tab, it'll pop right up, okay? Or you may have to search it if you're listening to this later in the year. There's 4 types that I look at people and think, okay, what type of goal setter are you? Particularly when I'm working with people in my practice or friends that approach me because I'm pretty well known for being able to accomplish my goals to the point that I am very careful actually what I write on my goal sheet because I know that if I write it down, it's going to get done. So it's been a process for me actually to let go of goals that don't serve me anymore. So let's look at the 4 different types, and then I'm going to give tips for working with your type as well. Okay? All right. Let me click over here to the blog post. So the first type that I identify in people are the hummingbirds. Like this group feels like often they have to set goals. You'll hear something come out of their mouth like, I'll set a New Year resolution, I guess, right? Like something like that. Or I'll try for a month or so. You'll hear that come out of their mouth. Or they'll say, let's see how far I make it. Like that type of thing. Because they don't have a whole lot of faith in their own ability to achieve their goals. They're like, yeah, I can set them, but I don't actually believe that I can do them. So I call them the hummingbirds because they sort of like flit from goal to goal. They'll like set one, drop it, set one, drop it, set one, maybe make it, right? Or maybe do it, drop it, that type of thing. Now the tip for this type, if you are a hummingbird, is to actually stick to short-term goals. So when the new year comes around, don't set a goal for the entire year and then feel defeated when you don't do it. And you lose your own faith in yourself in terms of, can you reach a goal? Because I'm pretty sure you can. I have one friend who said she's a torrid love affair between the hummingbird and the phoenix. Okay. When she read the blog post, she's like, I really, really wish that I could set a goal and stick with it. But I do tend to flit from goal to goal. So I want to reverse that. I want to increase your faith in yourself, in your ability to achieve your goals. So this is my recommendation, is to set short-term goals. So instead of your New Year resolution being something that you do all year, set it for 1 month. Like in January, I'm going to do this, and make it more of a process goal. So the New Year's resolution may be that I'm going to set new goals at the beginning of every month. That way you get to change them. They stay exciting to you. You get to keep doing them. And then you have a month that is more manageable to reach that goal. It's not like this drawn out long thing, all right, that you feel pressured to do. Not at all. Often when you set goals that way, it feels more fun. Like this is my monthly goal, or this is even my weekly goal. This week I'm going to do this. That's perfectly fine. Now, when you do that and then you get some under your belt, you feel better about your own ability to achieve your goals. So I often will set weekly goals. Then at the end of the week, like look over it and see which ones I did. And then that increases my own faith and my ability to set longer ones. Okay, so you might try that this year and see what happens. Now, the second type are the phoenixes. These people like rise up into the sky in this beautiful flash of color and then quickly burn out, right? So these are often the people who say like, go hard or go home, or step it up a notch, or I'm all in. They'll set these like amazingly beautiful goals and then crash and burn when they run out of energy. So my recommendation on this one, my tip on this one, is to make your goals more manageable. So don't set these like illustrious, beautiful, like, oh my God, pie in the sky kind of goals, and then crash and burn and then feel bad about yourself for not reaching them. Instead, set more manageable goals, or set a goal that has like markers along the way. So instead of like, I'm going to do a marathon this year, go for like, I'm going to do a 5K once a month. And then in June, I'll increase that to a half marathon. And then if that goes well, I'll look at the marathon. So those are markers along the way that you can judge and then adjust as you need to adjust. So that's really important for phoenixes because they get all fired up. They crash and burn, and then they're like, forget that. I'm not even going to do goals anymore. We don't want that to happen to you. We want you to feel like you can adjust the goal as you go. So build that into your goals as you make them. So I give an example on the blog post of like volunteer once a month instead of feeling like you're going to volunteer once a week, okay, which is a lot for most people. But I would also add to that, okay, I'm going to volunteer once a month. I'm going to choose an organization that I think is a good fit for me. But if it isn't a good fit for me, then I give myself permission to change, or I give myself permission to do something else in service other than volunteer. So it's that type of freedom that you want to give yourself instead of feeling like you have to stick to that original goal. All right, let's look at type 3, the cheerleaders. Now, these really are the people you want on your team. The cheerleaders are like team leaders, personal coaches, inspirational speakers. They get other people fired up about goal setting. They're actually really good at goals themselves, but what I see is that they often take on too many goals. So they will write out all these goals, not just for the year, for 2 years, 5 years, for their week, for their month. And then they'll feel like overwhelmed by all the things that they have to get done. So my recommendation here is to schedule in breaks from your resolutions or from your goals. So if you are a cheerleader and you have all these goals and you always feel like you're working towards that goal, you're doing this or you're doing that, and then you begin to feel burned out, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to say, hey, I'm not focusing on any goals this week. Like I'm going to sit on the couch and chill some, or I'm going to go on vacation and the goals will be there when I get back. That way you don't feel like your energy is constantly being depleted. And then on the blog post, I have a link to an article in Entrepreneur Magazine, which is a fantastic magazine. And it talks about how vacations can actually help people be way more productive. So particularly for entrepreneurs, which I'm an entrepreneur myself, I owned a company before I became a psychotherapist. Actually, at the same time that I was a psychotherapist, I owned a company and then I sold it. But I ran that company for a long time. And what happens as an entrepreneur is you feel like you constantly have to work. Like you constantly have to be on. You cannot take a vacation. You cannot go off the grid some. And the research they've done around this is that it's actually quite the opposite. Like you need time to renew, replenish, and you become more productive when you come back from that vacation versus less. So you could stay at, let's say, this moderate to high level of production if you just keep going. If instead you took a vacation, then your production actually goes to an even higher level. You have more energy to work. You get more efficient. I've definitely found this in my own life. Even on like a micro level, running the podcast, I know when I schedule in breaks to do the podcast, not that I don't have like a million ideas, that I could do it forever. Of course I do. But it's like when I schedule in those breaks, then I have renewed energy to come back to it in a different way. And it feels better. If things get done more efficiently, they get done faster, actually. That's what you want to work for if you're a cheerleader. Let's move on to type 4, the Alaskan Huskies. So the Huskies are crossing the finish line when it comes to New Year's resolutions or goal setting. They are the long-term workers. They say things like New Year's resolutions are opportunities for growth. Or let's look at this thoughtfully. Or I don't say something unless I'm actually going to do it. So those kinds of phrases often identify a husky. They will pull the sled at a steady pace until they cross the finish line. Okay, they're not like flying up into the sky, making a fabulous show and then burning out. They're not flitting from place to place. Nope, they're pulling the sled in a straight line. What I found is sometimes you'll get a cross between a husky and a cheerleader, or sometimes you get just straight huskies. With the huskies, what happens is that sometimes your pace is so slow, though, that you lose energy for the goal. You find yourself getting stuck in the details or getting stuck in a particular part, or sometimes moving into perfectionism. That often happens with huskies, where it doesn't necessarily with the cheerleaders. So then you're not moving forward in the way that you really want to. You get a little sidetracked, right? You sometimes see a rabbit and want to chase it, even though you actually don't chase it. My tip here is for you to include resolutions or goals that also include fun and excitement. So huskies are often like work, and they forget about fun, or they forget about creating excitement in their life, creating a sense of lightness in their life, because they're big, muscly dogs, right? So the fun and excitement will take you out of your regular pace of life, and so that you have a different viewpoint of things. Or you can also try a resolution or a goal that takes you out of your comfort zone. So that's another tip for huskies that works really well. Okay, perhaps your resolution is to do something that creates fear in you once a month and master that fear. Okay, not just creating fear. That's sort of pointless, right? It's like mastering the fear so that you explore something that you wouldn't normally do. And that seems to work really well for huskies. Now, my final tip here for all of you is to actually record yourself on your phone or however you like once you set your goals, so that you listen to those in the morning, or so that you can turn them on at night and really record yourself as if you've done them. So I've said this before on the podcast, I think, or perhaps I wrote it in a blog post. It's all sort of melds together sometimes, but it's really helpful to record yourself stating your goals as if they happened. It goes something like, by June 2018, I've created the online course that I want to offer, and I've looked at a company to run the landing page and Facebook ads, and I've chosen a company. And I feel really good about both my course and the company, and I'm excited to move it to the next step. So that last part is emotional, and I always recommend putting the emotional in your goals. Whether that's excitement, or I feel good, or I feel centered, or I feel grounded, whatever fits for you. Put some emotional there in your goals. It'll help you get them done, I promise. All right, people, that's the end of this little episode about goal setting, what type you are, and the tips for helping each type out. I will have a link to that blog post in the show notes so that you can go back and review it. If you prefer to read, some people do, then it will be there and you can read the blog post. Right here before I go at the end, just a reminder that in January 2018, there's a sale on 2 of my hypnosis files. The one to love to exercise, which makes exercising that much easier for you, as well as the one for healthy eating. So those 2 combined are really effective, but they're also effective right on their own if you just want to buy one or the other. And if you're listening to this after January 2018, then the podcast promo code is January 18, one word, and you'll get 20% off of those files at any time. The other sale that's going on is the Stop Smoking package. So it is deeply discounted right now. You can go and see it on my website. I do those over the phone, or I do them in person if you're local to South Florida. And that's at my website, drlizhypnosis.com. That's DRLIZ, hypnosis.com/hypnosis. And then you'll scroll down and see the Stop Smoking link and click right there. So that appointment to get the sale has to be scheduled, the first appointment, by January 31st. So this is airing the Friday before. So feel free to schedule that with me. Email me, call me, whatever you like. It's a great package, even if you schedule it after January 31st, 3 sessions. A lot of people just need 1 session to stop smoking. It's pretty amazing, actually. And again, I do those all over the world. That's it for this week. I hope you enjoy the specials, and I hope you have a wonderful 2018, sincerely. And I'm happy to be along for the ride with you. Peace. I hope you truly enjoyed today's episode. Remember that you can get free hypnosis downloads over at my website, drlizhypnosis.com, drlizhypnosis.com. I work all over the world doing hypnosis. So if you're interested in working with me, please schedule a free consultation over at my website, and we'll see what your goals are and if I can be of service to you in helping you reach them. Finally, if you liked today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast or tell a friend. That way, more and more people learn about the power of hypnosis. All right, everyone, have a wonderful week. Peace.